Hi everyone, Jay, Michelle, and I will be discussing our progress on our therapy software startup idea. To quickly recap, we talked about how counselors and therapists have to perform documentation for any patient session. When asked what they would change about their work with a magic wand, interviewees said that they would reduce their time documenting to spend more time with patients. However, the systems used for documentation have issues. They are tedious, rigid with little customization, and expensive for smaller practices. We propose a solution, a software purpose-built for counselors. It would have building blocks for customizable forms for any counseling style or specific patient. It would also have a cloud subscription model that would be health privacy regulation compliant while being affordable for any size of practice. With the initial idea in mind, we created the first version of our business model canvas. For our hypothesis on product market fit, we are hoping to design an electronic medical record system for self-employed mental health therapists in North America. The system would save them time in doing documentation and administration work. It would facilitate communication within the office and with other health professionals, such as family doctors. Therapists would no longer need to dig out piles of paper and could access patient information anywhere and anytime. We expected the system would improve customer satisfaction by including features such as automatic reminders for appointments and prescriptions. Advanced features such as data analysis would bring in more meaningful insights. For customer relationships, we are planning to get customers through search ads, direct phone calls, and emails. To keep customers satisfied, we would have responsive feedback, regular newsletters, and other communications. We would hope to grow the customer base by offering referral bonuses and upselling for more advanced packages. We believe the most effective channels would be through direct sales and our online website. Our revenue stream would be a subscription model, as it is an industry standard and gives more flexibility for practices to try out the software. Our key partners would need to be provincial health regulators that define privacy and compliance regulations that our software will need to abide by. We would need software engineers for developing a product, customer service reps, and sales reps for our direct sales approach. We first started on validating our product market fit. We scheduled more interviews for customer discovery, determined the market size to see if it has sufficient potential, looked for additional research to understand our customer persona, and did a competitive analysis of the therapy practice software market. First, we conducted another 5 interviews for our customer discovery. The 8 interviews in total range from recent graduates in their late 20s to industry veterans in their 50s. The gender split was mostly female, and the interviewees were located in Ontario, Minnesota, and China. We interviewed psychologists, psychotherapists, speech-language pathologists, and a clinic's accountant. We derived some key takeaways from these interviews. First, documentation isn't as big of an issue for mental health therapists as we originally thought. Due to COVID-19, most psychologists and psychotherapists have switched over to cloud-based software that has customizable forms and video conferencing, such as competitors OWL Software and Jane. The clinic accountant did mention that the importing of OWL data to accounting software was cumbersome, but did not seem as a top priority issue for them. However, when interviewing multiple speech-language pathologists, or SLPs in Ontario, every single one started talking about documentation as a big problem for them, without any leading questions. On the day of our interview, a speech therapist was actually taking a full day just to do reports and documentation. One interviewee mentioned that a guest speaker at their school joked that they would only catch up with their documentation once they retired. Another at a hospital mentioned that SLPs are often overlooked compared to other professionals when a hospital is hiring, since an SLP cannot go through as many patients in a day as other professionals. Why? First, the College of Audiologists and Speech-Language Pathologists of Ontario have pages and pages of documentation requirements for SLPs to ensure that they are not caught for auditing issues. One mentioned that there's a climate of fear with their college, as they are scared of random audits that are done annually. Secondly, the nature of their profession makes many customizable forms only suitable for mental health therapy, but not speech-language therapists. Most softwares do not focus on documentation for SLPs and do not cater to their documentation required for their college. For these reasons, we decided to refocus from therapists in general to the customer segment of speech-language therapists, and took a deeper look into their specific needs.
Speech-language pathologists held about 163,600 jobs in 2018, with a median age of 14 years old. Employment of speech-language pathologists is projected to grow 27% from 2018 to 2028. A labor shortage of such jobs is expected. According to the report of U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 50% of SLPs are employed by elementary and secondary schools, and only 17% are self-employed. The profession is highly regulated by provincial or state colleges. In Ontario, they are regulated by College of Audiologists and Speech-Language Pathologists of Ontario. We found out there are many software products for therapists. In the very segmented market, some companies had managed to establish a relatively larger user base than the others. We selected 6 most popular software systems from Captel, a famous business software site that offers user reviews. They are designed not specifically for language therapists, but all have claimed to have the capability to fulfill the needs for their niche market. We have registered with a few of them for a free trial, hoping to see how they work, assessing the design of the user interfaces and the completeness of the functionality. For the most part, they seem to be working with their own advantages and disadvantages over the others. We think that to fully understand why they are not widely adopted by the language therapists, we need more time talking with the customers to understand why, where, and what the gaps are. As to the important trends that are noticed in our investigation and could be useful for our startup, the function of analytics and telehealth will be in great demand, and the pandemic has accelerated the digitalization of the industry. There are many important takeaways from our market research. We understand the Canadian market has limited potential, therefore we need to keep the American market in mind when designing our product services. Concerning that about 50% of language therapists are employed by schools, it's important to understand how school boards make purchase decisions. As this is a highly regulated profession, the college should be treated as a vital partner. Even though there are very few software systems are specifically designed for speech-language therapists, many systems are designed for therapists in general claim to be able to be used by language therapists as well. We need to identify the gaps between the needs and the market supplies. Based on the mentioned discoveries, we decided to redirect our initial offering from a software product to consulting services. In the process of helping therapists to find the best system that saves their time and brings in efficiency, we could develop further market insight. The knowledge will help us better serve our clients and may be later used to build a better product.
Based on our efforts so far, we have updated the business model canvas. Compared with the first version, we are now proposing a different product to a different customer segment. To get more customers, we could advertise on the magazines that language therapists normally subscribe to. Blogs and social media channels could be utilized to cultivate awareness, interests, and maintain customer relationships. The revenue streams are two-sided. We could earn commissions from the software providers and also charge a consulting fee when we found the best softwares for therapists. The software providers, the regulators, and the school boards will be our major partners. An additional key activity will be the core offering, consulting services. As to the key resources, we added getting sales channel contracts with the software providers and a customer list. The new direction offers us many advantages. Not having to develop a software system that is not only expensive and time-consuming, but also not within our expertise, we can get started right now without the need to hire a software developer, which means we could be able to bootstrap for a longer period of time. There have been many examples of failure that the founders focused too much on the product itself without enough attention to the actual interaction with customers. What are we doing next? We have scheduled to meet more language therapists. We hope the interviews could help us further validate the market product fit hypothesis. Recognizing the importance of partners, we will contact the college to understand their requirements and what resources we could leverage. As mentioned before, schools employ more than 50% of speech therapists. We will get in touch with them to understand their budget and the purchasing process. We will also prepare the negotiation of channel agreements with the software providers that we selected. Another step that could be done immediately is to develop a website for customer feedback purposes. We will later on improve the website based on our future work. To get extra funding other than our own savings, we're considering to list our project in some popular crowdfunding sites, such as Kickstarter. We will also explore grant funding for such business ideas. We'd like to share a few learnings we had so far with only a couple of weeks into our new business. We were a little surprised to find out that there have already been products in the market that could offer the functions we thought were not available and were supposed to be our competitive advantage. However, we also realized the problem identified originally still hold valid, that a group of therapists were not adopting any electronic record systems or not satisfied with them. Instead of withdrawing from the idea, we thought about what else we can do and who else we can serve. By pivoting twice already, we have switched our project from a capital-intensive offering to a consulting service that with a much lower risk. Most importantly, the new direction now allows us to better utilize our current available resources. There is so much we have done and we can keep doing with just what we have. Thank you for your attention and your time.